Well, and I think too, another dimension of that is that any relationship requires maintenance and,
effort.
improving and effort and taking time with them and continuing to learn and continuing to, at times when you need to correct them or praise them, that's important as well. And I know, like with Chief, I can take time off with him, and he's 21 now, and I can ride in that other field, and he can act like he's 5.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's great that he has energy, but I'm like, why are you being a knucklehead? And I'm like, well, Colleen, you've been inconsistent. You've been spending time with him walking in the morning because we have to get our steps in. It was my fault because I have not been consistent with him, and I have not been getting him out, and I haven't been working with him and expanding and broadening his comfort zone. Because his comfort zone will go like this real quick, so.
Yeah. See, and that's where I'm blessed, because of course I don't get to ride Zoe as much as I would like to. It's always on the to-do list.
I hear you, sister.
But I'm out there with her every day for therapy.
Yeah.
And so we have a different relationship, and I've really seen when I was riding her a lot versus now when we're doing more therapy than actual riding, is our relationship has shifted. And she has shifted, and then when I do ride her, she's phenomenal. She's one where she was always one where you could not ride her for several months and she would be okay. She's a tester, but she's a mare. But now I've noticed that even more and more, she's so much better under saddle. But it's because I think our relationship has so shifted just with the different clinics I'm going to. Being present with her, I'm present in not asking anything of her.
Yeah.
I want her to be herself and the beautiful soul that she is. And so that's really made a well-rounded relationship, because I think so often it's like, well, we've got to get our steps in, and we have to do our lunging, and we have to ride, and we have to do this, and we have to do that. Or it's like, so much of this relationship too is get your book, get your coffee, and go out and sit with your horse in their pasture. Sit with them in their space, or pull them out and find a shaded area to just hang out. And that emotional relationship is just as important. And it'll positively impact your performance, whatever that performance may be.
And I do like those special times that I have had, those moments with Chief, and he's come up and shared breath with me, or I just get to love on him and spend time, or he rests his leg, I rest my leg, and we just chill, that kind of stuff. And that's the precious time.
Yeah.
Those are important too. So I'm glad you mentioned that. It's a reminder to me that I need to do a little bit more of that. Good for the soul for me too.
It doesn't all have to be work.
It's that being versus, it's that balance between being versus doing. They need that for themselves. We need it for ourselves, and then we need it as a team.
Right.
Or that partnership.
Right.
Yeah.
Love it.
Maybe we delve into, we're in mud season in North Carolina. Abscesses, thrush, the never-ending battle.
The environment that our horses have had all summer and fall and now into winter is it's wet. Yeah. And we have this beloved red clay, which wreaks havoc on much more than just the hair. But it's that constantly cleaning out your horse's feet. And even though it's like, I'm going to pick it out and then they're going to go right back in, and thrush is an anaerobic infection. So air is the best thing for it. Now you can pick out your horse's feet, allow them to stand, in screenings or in cross ties, allow the air to be there a little bit. There's some great products. Keeping in mind that when you're buying the products, you are buying chemicals. Read the bottle, be aware of what you're putting on. Thrush, No Thrush is a white powder that I think is fantastic. You've got your copper toxins and your thrush busters. Those are very strong. Good old apple cider vinegar and tea tree oil is an excellent, more natural way to clean out and rebalance your horse's feet without being invasive. You can use it every day. You could use it multiple times a day, and it's not going to cause damage.
Do you mix it together?
Yes.
Like just in a little sprayer.
Oh,
I love
get
that.
Everything at the dollar store.
See, you learn something new every day.
Now, what would be the
Mix
ratio?
Yeah.
You do like 10 to 1.
Okay.
Yep. And it's one of those where if you have too much apple cider vinegar, you're not going to cause damage, and if you have too much tea tree oil, you're not going to cause any damage.
Okay.
When you're using more natural-based products, you're not going to cause harm.
Okay. I love that.
There is a mixture I very rarely recommend of bleach and water. You have to use 10 parts water to 1 part bleach, because of the potency, and then only use that like once a week or once every couple days because the bleach does damage.
Yeah.
Apple cider vinegar and tea tree oil is all natural. It doesn't cause any harm.
Love that.
I also have another client who likes hydrogen peroxide. Has hydrogen peroxide in a spray bottle, works fantastic as well.
Okay.
But cleaning your horse's feet out before you ride, even if you're not riding, just to check it over.
Right.
See what the frogs are looking like. It's mud. They're gonna be moist. They're gonna be softer. They may have a little bit of thrush. Just because they're wet doesn't necessarily mean they're thrush.
It's that smell
it's
for
the
me.
smell. It's
Yeah.
the black gook.
Yeah.
That are telltale signs. One thing that I'm a stickler about is looking at the health of the frog. So the frog is the hinge of the foot, and it should ideally be a healthy triangle. Now, sometimes down the middle in that center sulci, there'll be a line. Some of them are just a line, and it doesn't go anywhere. When you can stick your hoof pick down into the center of the frog, you're getting major issues and major pain. Because what's happening is the thrush has gone in and compromised all the healthy tissue, and you actually have live infection in the center of the frog.
Okay.
And it's an ideal environment because it's dark, it's moist, you can't clean it.
Right.
When you put topical solutions on it, it doesn't go in it. But every time the horse steps, that's moving.
Right.
If you're working in a beautiful sand arena, that sand is getting up in there. And so I've seen horses that were 100% lame, and all we did was fix that problem.
Wow.
And that was huge. And so being proactive with that center sulci, so basically going to be that center line right down the middle of your frog, making sure that's a nice solid frog. And for that, you can use Today. It's a product that's called Today, or there's a product called Tomorrow.
Oh, for the cows.
The cow mastitis comes in a catheter needle, so you don't even have to mix anything up.
Yeah.
And you stick that catheter needle right down into the center of the frog, and you do it once to twice every day until it's cleaned up.
Okay.
This one particular horse, the owner did it 3 times a day, and it took us 7 weeks to get their frogs healed, but then he hasn't had any issues since.
So that was a pretty
Yeah, that's
He was
bad.
horrible,
serious
yes.
case. Yeah.
And he had been deemed, the horse had gone to this particular trainer for behavioral issues.
Okay.
And a lot of his behavioral issues were unsoundness due to his feet. So we were able to rebalance his feet,
Okay.
treat the thrush in the center sulci, and now he's a phenomenal horse. He goes to the riding all over.
Next time you trim Sky, could you fix her behavioral issues?
Nice try.
It's worth a shot.
It was.
That's not her problem.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
That's something that's very often overlooked,
Yeah.
or treating it is overlooked. And it's like I say with any of the products and treatments and ailments is, I don't care what you use,
Right.
as long as you use it.
Yeah.
And do it consistently.
Right.
You know, again, that consistency piece is huge. You've got to use it and be proactive with it, or nothing's going to make a difference.
And just like taking off the blanket to take a look at your horse's body, pick your horse's hooves to take a look at the horse's hoof. No
And
hoof, no horse.
educating yourself what
Yep.
the foot's supposed to look like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you'll learn hopefully what your horse's feet are supposed to look like.
Right.
Now you may not see the balance, or you may
Right.
not see something more technical,
Right.
but you'll notice, that frog looks funny, or there's a huge piece of frog missing, or I noticed there's a little separation in this white line here. What's going on? And then you can call me. So you don't have to be a professional
Right.
to have a common sense of, okay, here's your frog, here's your sole, here's your white line,
Right.
and be able to speak of something's not looking right.
Yeah.
Like what you said, you called and you were like, something's going on, this isn't right.
Right.
So we come out and take a look.
Yeah, I love that.
No, it's perfect.
And on picking your horse's hooves often, I heard you say, some people will say, well, if I clean them, they're just gonna go right back in the mud. Well, I've had many situations where I've picked out my horse's hooves, and deep within the mud that's in their hoof is a rock.
Yep.
And it's right up against their sole or their frog, and that's why you clean them out. That's one of the many reasons
Right.
why you clean them out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're gonna go back in the mud, but at least
Not with a
you're
rock.
not packing more and more, or just causing maybe a stone bruise or something.
I like to because it's just another way of handling my horse.
Yeah.
Keeping him, picking up his feet, cleaning him, being patient, and if he leans on me, correcting, right? But it's just another way to to work with you.
You can feel what your horse's body is doing. Because so much of the work that I do, yes, the foot is the focus, but it's all encompassing of the entire body.
Right.
So if you pick up and you realize, oh, he's a little stiff in the, stiff in his left hind, or
Right.
He's leaning over more, or he won't
Right.
stretch forward. That tells you more as to the story as to what's going on.
Right.
Maybe he did just slip in the mud.
Right.
Very possible.
Right.
Or maybe there's more going on. But having those movements and your horse allowing you to be able to do those movements builds on that trust.